One of the award honorees at the Chamber of Commerce Night of Distinction, the winners of the Carter-Wickwire Philanthropy Award, Jim Grace and Joyce Grace, along with CEO of the Jackson Community Foundation, Monica Moser. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
And congratulations, Joyce and Jim. That's a great honor.
Thank you very much.
It was absolutely and a great surprise.
Well, I think anyone that knows the Graces knows they've been very generous to the community. And Monica, this is what we're really celebrating, their generosity and commitment to Jackson.
Absolutely. They definitely epitomize the families, the Carter and Wickwire families, whose first gift to start the community foundation came from the life insurance when those two families lost their sons in battle during World War II. And that original $20,000 has been grown and growing over the last 75 years. And today the community foundation assets are about $42 million, in large part to people like Joyce and Jim, Grace.
We answered everything.
who really give back to the community in many ways, but one of the ways is to support the community through philanthropy, through starting a fund and making grants to local nonprofits and local initiatives that help us become stronger.
Nice. Well, I'm sure you like the opportunity to set an example for others in the community. And I think that's one of the reasons that this award is public and celebrated. But Joyce and Jim, what is it about your interest in donating time and money and supporting the community through philanthropy?
Well, I think we have always, initially we were probably most active through our church over the years, the different churches we've belonged to, which are only about 3. But frankly, Jackson was a rather interesting place to come to. We came to it here in our very early 20s, and right out of college, just married. And in Jackson, we knew that there was no Ford Foundation that Detroit had, or Kellogg Foundation like Battle Creek had, or Mott as Flint, Upjohn, Stryker, and so forth. And I remember Dick Hatt, when I first joined the Y, telling a number of us that when they needed money, they had to go out and ask people for those small checks because they didn't have the deep pockets that would be able to underwrite major projects. And over the years, we've seen that work in Jackson, be it Jay High and getting millage passed to do their remodeling, whether it's the foundation going to people and creating relationships to get funds and scholarships, because things can be done on all scale. You don't have to have hundreds of millions of dollars to get something going. What does it take to start a scholarship?
It's about $100,000 now.
It is now? Oh.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
College is getting more and more expensive.
Yeah. But nevertheless, we did have people earlier do it with smaller amounts, because I know the people who've done that. And when I got into the financial industry in the mid-70s, we had contact with both people who were making donations to places like the foundation and also many other entities in town. But we also, in addition to those kind of gifts, I met the people who were behind the scenes. Fred Corwin, who was on the board of he was one of the early board members of the foundation of Aeroquip, and then there was people like Doug Burdick.
So many.
Yeah, Jody Bacon. Many people who were very key people and were very articulate telling the story of the foundation. And that's what Monica's been doing so magnificently for how many years now?
Almost 12 years,
Almost 12
March 1st.
Really?
It'll be my anniversary.
Monica came on the board right about the time I was departing.
Yeah.
So how many years have you been married?
58.
She got
Well,
it right.
happy Valentine's Day. 58 years.
Yes.
So where are you going to dinner tonight?
Well, we're going to, when we leave here, Bart, we're going across the street to Bella, and we will have a very, very light lunch and take home, which we did all through COVID, a delicious lasagna dinner for our Valentine's dinner.
Awesome.
And if we're lucky, we'll get some tiramisu.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah. I'm sure they've got it. Now, you not just, you don't just write checks. You do some pretty deep dives into different initiatives and organizations you support.
Mm-hmm.
What are some of those because you each have your own favorites, but what are some of those that
Well,
you've supported?
Thank you for asking. One of the things that I've been a part of for a long time is an organization that I don't think too many people know about. It's called the Jackson Literary and Arts Group Foundation. I'm not sure what our whole title would be, but it's a group of women who got together around the turn of the century, and they
The turn
not
of the
this century,
previous century.
the previous century. What they did was they felt that Jackson, it was harder to travel then, and not everyone had the money or the ability to go out of town, or the roads, frankly. And so they brought things into Jackson. They brought authors, musicians, and one of their things they decided to do was try to raise some money or use some of their own money, because they were largely women who had some money who could do this, and they basically brought these things here. And I think that tradition has continued. And when I was, I'm not sure how old, I have no idea anymore, but I was invited to be in the group. I was the baby.
Yeah. So that group still meets today,
Yes, we
and
do.
their endowment is at the Community
Yeah.
Foundation, and they do grant making every year to support arts and literary kinds of programs and initiatives in Jackson County.
And it's very nice to work with Monica, because she gives us lots of different things to look at so that we can consider what they need, what we have to give, because the money we have now comes from our endowment.
One of the things, and I think you mentioned this at the event, Monica, the gift of the renovation, the restoration of Stone Village, which is a community asset that had fallen into disrepair
Yes.
and hard times, but it's been brought back to. It's unbelievable how.
Well, we really were watching it crumble and fall, literally.
Well, you're a neighbor of that.
Yes, because our house is nearby.
Yes, we
And-
bought the 9 acres that were immediately to the south of the barns.
On the river.
And it was a beautiful site. We loved the site, but it was very sad, because we came to Jackson in the 60s. In the 66, we moved in I think, and it was a place that people had many events at. It was as I say, a major.
Yeah, there used to be a theater group.
Theater
that-
was
Yes,
there,
yeah.
yes.
Joyce had been in many plays at the Jackson Civic Theater over the
Yes.
years. Well, many years ago.
And it was a farm originally, right?
Yes, the whole thing was the farm. on the
It was
field.
built by one of our industrialists named Bennett, who had traveled in Europe and came back having seen these spectacular
Stone houses.
and stone farms in various parts of England and France. And anyway, he decided he was going to build one here, which he did.
Oh, it's
And that was done in
beautiful.
1880.
That's 1880.
Yes.
Wow.
1880.
And
Oh my
we were
gosh.
watching it crumble, and as soon as it became obvious that the owner had gotten a bid to bulldoze it,
Oh, no.
yes, and that's when we said, we'll buy it.
Oh, my gosh. Had that happened, the whole town
Well-
would have been up in arms.
Well, the thing is,
They
maybe
could've.
if it had been maybe a few, this had happened in a slightly different time frame, you maybe could have raised some money with a GoFundMe, but it was not an economic, it had no economic benefit, the project.
No.
It was strictly to
No.
keep this restore it.
It's a labor of love.
It was a labor
It
of
was.
love.
And he went to work every day, and I had to sit there with the workmen who were looking at it, scratching their heads, thinking, where do we start? But they did it.
Well, we have a clip from the Night of Distinction as you're on stage accepting the award. Let's take a look.
It's a very small and wonderful group we're joining, and we've been very grateful for the time we've spent involved with the foundation and plan to continue the rest of our time. Interestingly enough, Monica did speak about the Carter-Wickwire genesis of the foundation. And in 1985, we purchased from Ann Wolf and Mel Wolf a house at the foot of Park Road on the east side of Stonewall, which we quickly discovered was owned by a number of people, and amongst those was the Carter family. And John Carter grew up in that house. We spent 20 years there, which is the longest we've ever spent in any one house in Jackson, and happy years. And that's how we learned about the tragic death of John, and we found out about how the life insurance proceeds were put to use. It's amazing what has happened to the foundation over these many years. The growth has been just so exciting. Monica, how much are we giving out this past year? The past year? $2.5 million. When I was on the board, we just had reached the $1 million mark, and we were very excited about that. But there'll be no end to it. It is for good forever, and the assets will continue to grow, but most through generosity of people like yourselves and other generous people within our community. And we have to keep supporting that, because we do not have the deep pockets that many other communities have with multi-hundred-million-dollar corporations, but we'll get there, and the Community Foundation will reach that point. I don't know if we'll be around, but most of you will. So again, thank you so much. We are very honored.
Yay.
Very nice. Congratulations.
Thank you.
How unselfish of the families that lost sons in war to take their life insurance proceeds and just give it to the community.
Bart, have you ever seen the window at St. Paul's?
Yes, I know that.
You sent a crew over to do a feature on it.
It is beautiful.
It was.
Have you seen it?
I have, yeah.
Well, it's great that the families remembered in a number of ways. Obviously, Wickwire Road is the family and the farm.
Right, that house is still
and
there.
They gave the property to the college, I believe.
Yep.
All right, you sent us some photos. Let's take a look. Where are you?
This is probably the Galapagos.
I'm not sure where
It's
we
beautiful
are. I think
wherever.
it is the Galapagos. We went to Machu Picchu and the Galapagos this year. We had not traveled for a while because of COVID.
Last December, a year ago December, in January.
This is Machu Picchu behind us. What was interesting, Bart, was that because of COVID, and we had gone to all kinds of lengths to be able to travel. We had to get tested at every plane stop. But what happened was nobody was there.
You had the running place.
It was normally these places are filled with tourists, and it was a wonderful
so
opportunity
there's our
to see
crew.
it. Yeah, the 10 of us.
Our granddaughters and kids and their spouses.
The whole family.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And here we are.
And there you are.
Yes, with a lovely bouquet. Thank you.
Well, the impact that you've had in the community, you mentioned serving on the board, Jim, and Joyce, you've been incredible artist and very prolific as well. I don't know how many paintings you've done. You probably don't know yourself.
I don't know.
No.
I have no idea. And I don't know where they all are either.
But you've both been on boards and you've been volunteers.
Yes.
You've been generous with your money as well. So when I heard you were selected with this honor, I thought, perfect. And I know, Monica, we talked about that night. It's like, it's a no-brainer, wasn't it?
No brainer, right? And they joined the ranks of previous recipients, Carlene LaFear, the Honorable Carlene Walls LaFear, Dr. Jerry Booth, Tony Hurst, and I'm missing
Travis and Georgia
Travis
Fatasic.
and Georgia Fatasic. So some wonderful other folks in the community that have stood up and said we want to be a part of the solution to making Jackson the best place to live, work, and play. And it takes a whole team of us, and our team is growing. So I'm just so thankful to both of you for staying so involved and being such ambassadors, not just for the Community Foundation, but for the community. So it really makes a difference and it matters, and we appreciate you.
Thank you, Monica.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, and all those people you mentioned, Monica, they're still here, they're still giving.
They are.
In fact, some of them were at the Michigan Theater that night.
Yes,
Yes.
I know. I saw Carlene in the distance, but George and Travis were right behind us.
Yeah.
She sent me a very nice, she sent us a very nice
A
note.
lovely note. Yeah.
Awesome to see you all. Thanks for coming in today.
Thank you.
Thanks so much, Barb.
Nice to be here.
Congratulations. Jim and Joyce Grace, the winners of the Carter-Wickwire Philanthropy Award and CEO of the Jackson Community Foundation, Monica Moser. We have more